Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. So glad you guys could join us once again. For those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad you all can be with us. We're about to connect with our friends over on Instagram so they can be part of our conversation today. And last but certainly not least, going to connect with our friends over on Amazon so I can introduce you guys to our guest for today. If you guys are new to us, we're glad that you found us for this segment. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this. I have a great author with a great book that I had a chance to read. And we're now live on the Amazon Live platform with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on Amazon, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see it either here in this corner or you'll see it down below. You also will see the book by our next guest. We're excited to welcome Katherine Davis-Gibbon to our broadcast today. Katherine's the author of this book called Words that is great for children going into the summer, but it's also great for us adults as well. We're going to talk to Katherine not only about the writing of the book, but what's been like for her to share the message of the power of words and the importance of words. And also, of course, let you guys know how to stay connected with her too. Katherine, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. This is fantastic.
Well, look, I appreciate the opportunity. Congratulations to you once again on the book. I really enjoyed it for myself personally. I love how fun the illustrations tie into the message. What has it been like for you already, Katherine, to see the way that readers are responding to words?
Oh, it's so rewarding. It's just been so much fun. I've been going to do little readings at schools, and I lead the kids through some literacy based activities and games as well. And it is just the most amazing thing to sit there with kids and have the book open and just kind of ask them, what are you seeing and what are you taking from this? And just to see the way they kind of light up, it gives them that sense of agency of like, oh, I can read, like, and I want to. It's really cool.
Yeah. Hello to you, Naya. Good to be to see you, Naya, over there on Instagram. Telemika, hello to you. Good to be to see you, a fellow Mississippian over there on IG. Stacy, hello to you. Glad you could join us over there on Facebook. And what I love about the book is the messaging. It is a fun read for sure. I think, Katherine, but it also, I think, has a great message. One of the things I wanted to share with our audience that I wanted to ask you about is what you said in the book. And it's this. But when you feel their light talking about words glowing inside you, that means your words want to be shared. And when you see it in someone else's eyes that beam with gratitude or flash with excitement, you'll be glad that you did. So I wanted to ask you, Katherine, when did you realize the power of words in your own life?
Oh gosh. So I think I was really, for whatever reason, had always had this affinity for words. That's why I eventually became a writer.
Mhm.
But honestly, as a child, I was shy and I was really careful with my words. To the point, to a certain point, that's a good thing because I understood, like, oh, I could really hurt someone with these words, or I could really help
Mm,
someone with these words. So I want to use them judiciously.
yeah.
Um, that's the positive side of it. But I
Mhm.
do think I was a little scared of my words.
Mm,
I was a little scared of my voice, using my voice, finding my voice, and just telling apart like which voice is coming from within
yeah.
and which voice is kind of being projected on me and I'm internalizing. That's confusing for kids,
Right.
because we all internalize our parents' voices and, grandparents, caregivers, some teachers, people who have been significant in our lives. And then
Right.
you have to learn the difference. You have to know, like, well, when are these my words? And how do I feel about them? And how important are these? And how do I want to use words in the world?
Mm. Such a great point. Barbara Wharton, hello to you. Good to be to see you over there on IG. Instagram, you guys are really coming in there. And on Amazon, I appreciate the hearts over there. If you guys have any questions or comments for Katherine, make sure you guys put those in the chat as well. I love what you said. And I can relate to that a lot, Katherine, because as someone who grew up with a speech impediment, I was very slow to speak because I felt like I wasn't going to say something correctly or not even be able to get the word out. but what I love about this book is it shows that even if you don't get it perfect, right? The important thing is to understand the power of words. So for you to be able to learn it for yourself, Katherine, and now to be able to be an author, talk to us about that journey. What has that been like for you to make sure that you're able to be able to reach people with your words, but also to inspire people with your words as well?
Yeah, it's That's such a great story that you shared. And I just want to share with you that I think one of the reasons that I um, took words seriously is because my dad stutters and kind of speaks
Mm-hmm.
slowly. And
Mm-hmm.
that gave me a lot of opportunity as a child to like stop and listen,
Yeah.
because I hated when people interrupted him. I just
Mm-hmm.
hated it. I was like, that's so rude. Like, he
Yeah.
has something to say. Just let him speak, wait, listen, he'll get to it. And I really learned to use those pauses as ways to self reflect on how I was receiving what he had to say. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know that
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
moving to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been a journey for me. And I think, becoming a mom and raising kids, it really, there's a way that you kind of reparent yourself through the raising of your kids. And you just care so much about, how can I help them? And
Right.
how can I raise good people in the world? Like, people, I think all kids start out with good intentions, but, then they just start, mimicking what's being modeled. And kids today are growing up in this extremely combative environment, where people are always weaponizing words and broadcasting their opinions. And I think it's daunting. And so I really wanted to send a positive message to children of like, you know what? We are never going to be done on this journey. This is a lifelong journey. You don't reach a certain age or get a certain diploma and like, hey, you're good. You'll never slip again. We're constantly fumbling, and learning through using words and engaging with words. I just don't want kids to shut down, to
Right.
feel intimidated, daunted, to feel like, justifiably these days, oh, if I say something and I just get it a little bit wrong, I might get ostracized or bullied or canceled or whatever. It's like, you've
Yeah.
got to stay in this journey. You've got to partner with words in this journey. And that was really what as I say, it's a journey that I've been on and am still on.
Yeah.
So it's something that, from my heart to everyone's heart, I hope that everyone can just really engage in that journey.
Yeah. And I love the fact that the book again with the great marriage, Catherine, of the words, but also the pictures, show that words are not only something that we say; it can be a part of our life. You write in the book, words are like kids who see each other and begin to play, flying higher, digging deeper, joining hands to create something new. And I wanted to pick up on that because I think one thing I've learned and benefited from when it comes to words is that just because you've learned a word or way to say something doesn't mean there isn't more to learn. Talk to us about that appreciation of digging deeper, of being able to realize, just like we learned in school. I had some great teachers. I was fortunate enough to have some great teachers here in Mississippi that helped me to say, okay, you can say it this way, or what's a more descriptive way that you can be able to talk about things. And that's what kind of led me into writing. What was it like for you to show that same desire can be there for kids too?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of one of the great joys of my life as a writer and as a mother, to constantly unpack words. And, it's incredible. I mean,
Mhm.
it's kind of mind boggling that a single word, you could look it up in the dictionary and it has a meaning,
Mhm.
but it can mean so many different things and have so many different layers depending on the context, who you're
Right.
saying it to, what time is it, where are you. It's like the word just reinvents, language just reinvents itself. And that's, the joy, I'm sure, too, of being a writer,
Mhm.
is exploring that endlessly. And I think, that's something that it can feel confusing sometimes, especially when you're little, and it can feel even overwhelming sometimes, but I want kids to find the delight in that.
Right.
um yeah,
Yeah.
and all the opportunities that brings to them.
Yeah. You mentioned something I want to go back to, and that is the fear of judgment. I think that there are so many people, and especially today, I think in the world that we live in, Catherine, where we are so quick, especially online. Unfortunately, we see this a lot, where people may not, articulate something the best way, and people are so quick to jump on them instead of realizing they understand the context, instead of trying to nitpick everything. One of the things I love about this book is that one thing it encourages, it made me think about Maya Angelou in some ways, of the freedom that can come in words. What Talk to us about that freedom for yourself, and what you hope also comes from that from readers too, about realizing that words can really set them free and help to expand their world.
Absolutely, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better than what you just said. I think, the culture that we're in, and we can kind of point the finger at social media, and that's been a huge influence. But I feel like that just it's almost like that attitude, the social media attitude of kind of hyper vigilantly observing others, consuming others' stories,
Yeah.
like consuming people and their content, instead of actually just connecting and interacting the way you would in real life. I feel like it's almost like a virus, the way it's kind of changed the way people talk to each other, even in person.
Yeah.
And this constant outward focus on kind of seeing and being seen. And I don't mean that in the positive way of being seen, like when you really
Right.
feel seen, but
Right.
like, consuming others, creating kind of an avatar of yourself and putting it out there. All of that is a lot of static and a lot of confusion for kids. And what I really hope that kids and parents get reading the book is like, this is a sacred, private relationship that you have with your own words.
Hmm.
And don't let anything get in the way of that, because then you're going to have a hard time even really knowing yourself. There's just going to be so many kind of mirrors and frames and different ways of, seeing things, or the way other people see things. You're going to start to lose track of who you are. And I think this is really about, finding yourself and finding your voice in the world of language. But you've got to hold words sacred, and you've got to treat them with respect.
Yeah, I think that's such a great point. I want to say, for those who are just tuning in, welcome. You're watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're excited to welcome Katherine Davis-Gibbon to our broadcast today. She's the author of this book called Words. If you guys are joining us on the Amazon side, you all can see it there in our carousel, either on the side if you're joining us on your mobile, but if you're joining us on your desktop or laptop, you'll see it down below. You can be able to get your copy there. And also let you guys know how to stay connected with Katherine as well. There's another message I wanted to share from the book, Katherine, that I thought was really appropriate for this conversation, but also I think a great reminder for us. You say this: words can be tricky, but they're always here, waiting for you to find them and speak them and write them and sing them. I want to talk about, especially the time that we're in now, as kids are out for summer. A lot of them are, being able to. I know for me, a lot of my writing, even in school, happened during the summertime instead of being out playing. But I think also being able to enjoy words. What do you hope, especially kids and even maybe their parents and guardians, while they're spending time with them, will be able to encourage them to do in not only discovering their voice, but sharing their voice in some way?
Definitely, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it's really nice for kids. For my kids, in the summer, they get to do lots of different camps and pursue interests, and so they're going to be, not with their normal classmates. They're going to be with people they have maybe something in common with.
Hmm.
They're a little more passionate about. And what a great opportunity to connect with people, you know, um, when you get to collaborate with others on a project, or even if it's sort of parallel, like, you're working on your painting and I'm sitting next to you working on my painting, or it's a sport, a team sport, whatever it is, you're going to be connecting with people over things that you both love. Hopefully,
Hmm.
is my hope, is that how kids are spending their summer. And yeah, um, tapping into the words that are coming authentically from within. Um, you just improvise. It's like it's like a game, putting words together. It's like the page you referenced a moment ago about creating something new. That's the magic. It's the magic of meeting people, connecting. Any word can be your friend. Any person can be your friend, but you really do have to be engaged, not tuning people out, not being afraid of words, but sharing them and learning from others.
You made me think about something I was about to forget, Catherine, and that is, since we are on a visual platform, I can actually show our audience on Amazon and on social the illustrations, and especially the one you just mentioned, because again, the words themselves create a picture. Talk to us about the perfect marriage you have in the book of the illustrations with the words. What was it like for you to see come to life?
Oh my gosh, that was crazy because I went into it. I had this idea of like, no, I want these words to be characters. Like these words have to be illustrated and and I told I searched many portfolios and found Anne Berry, who I love, and told her what the book was about, the message of the book, and she was like, wow, that really resonates with me, and what a cool idea. And we were like, great, let's do it. And then we were sort of like, oh, how? Like it was just, it was just like kind of overwhelming. But we just started. I sketched and she sketched, and the main thing that we talked about is like, this is an ensemble cast
Yeah.
of as many different kinds of kids as we can kind of squeeze into the book in terms of, color, size, ability, culture. We want every kid to see themselves or, a family member in the book. And then also with the words, we want the words to be really all different, every word really having its own personality. So, they could see themselves in a word, you know, hopefully in every word. But yeah, so it was a challenge. It took us a long time to do, but we just had so much fun. We would, one or the other of us would come up with a sketch, and then we'd be like, okay, how do we really bring this to life? Like, what are the colors and what are the prints and what are all the little idiosyncratic details we can add to each word character so that they really remind you of someone and of yourself.
Yeah, I love that. Lester Green, hello to you. Good to be able to see you over there on IG as well. For those of you who are coming in late, don't worry. The replay of this will be available on whatever platform you're watching us on, including you guys over there on YouTube. I see you as well. Appreciate the love over there too. Again, Catherine, this has been a great conversation. I really enjoyed this book. I think the timing of this is perfect. This timing of this conversation, I think, is perfect. Really showing, I think, the importance of words, but also how we can be able to share those words with others and create something great, just like you've been able to do in this book. Again, for those of you joining us on Amazon, you all can be able to get your book there on the Amazon platform. For those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, we have the link to bring you guys over to Amazon to get it for yourself. Catherine, let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
So if you go to my website is probably the easiest way because everything is there. It is riverletpress.com. So river, let, Let, as in Little River, press.com. And all my social links are there. I have a resources tab for caregivers with kind of pragmatic suggestions for, say, classroom activities for kindergarten, first grade, or second and third grade, ways you can integrate the book and various activities, games, and crafts into the classroom. I have suggestions for parents, grandparents, caregivers about ways to talk to kids about the language that they use. And yeah, connect with me there. I love hearing directly from people. So if you're a parent, if you're a librarian, if you're a teacher, don't be shy. Press the contact button, send me an email. As I said earlier, I do a little program that I take into libraries and schools where we read the book and we talk about social emotional stuff. And then we play games, literacy based games, or I might have a craft. It is so much fun. And it's really quite amazing to see how much kids have to say on this topic. So, press the contact button, reach out to me. I'm traveling a lot this year. I would love to come to your school, your library, your bookstore, if I can.
All right. Catherine, again, congratulations to you. Looking forward to our next chat together.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Angela Anderson, hello to you. I see you over there on IG. And we thank all of you for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll speak to you soon. Take care.